tuning in to Green Talks. On today's episode, I'll be talking to Joshua Ross. He was a victim of a carjacking that happened last Friday at a Shell gas station in Corona, California. Let's hear from him.
Sure.
So, what was going on in your mind when this was first happening? Like right when it first
When it
started?
was first happening, I thought it was like a joke.
Yeah.
When I first saw the gun, I didn't even think it was a real gun. The gun looked like kind of shiny. And I've never seen an AR-15. That's not even a common gun. So I just
Right.
thought, at first I thought he was either pulling a prank, and then I thought he was trying to steal my truck, with like a fake gun.
Mm.
But then when he shot the gun, he set off a round, at least one that I know for sure.
Did he did
And
he
when
shoot
I
the
heard that, I instantly knew that it was a real gun.
did he shoot it like towards you or like up in the sky kind of?
I think he actually was holding it in his right hand, so he had it kind of resting on his forearm. He had the barrel resting on his forearm, and
Right.
I believe his forearm was kind of like set the barrel at a little bit of an angle, so it was more like
Okay.
towards the sky. So it was definitely a warning shot.
Right.
Um, yeah, and then so after I got out of the way, he got in my truck and he was looking for the keys to turn it on, and I kept backing up,
Yeah.
and he'd asked me where the keys were, and I told him they were in there. And then I continued to back up, and then he was like asking me again, "Where are your keys?" And he's screaming. And I told him, figure it out, and then
Yeah.
I just turned around and booked it. And then like as I'm sprinting, I hear my truck turn on, and then he's like peeling out of there. But
How long did it take until the cops to actually show up to the location?
so the pursuit started in another city, and then
Mm.
it made its way over to Corona. I want to say he had gotten a little gap on them, like there was a
I
good
see.
amount of distance, because I think his whole mindset was to ditch the silver Mercedes to get into a different vehicle. And
Okay.
I think when he saw, a single truck in the Shell gas station, I think he's thinking like, oh, this might be an easy pickup or come up or whatever. So, yeah, he right when he was peeling out, the cops were coming in, because I,
I see.
I I think the amount of time that it took for him to get out of the silver Mercedes, to get over to my truck, to get me out of the way, to get into the truck, to find the keys, and then to actually turn it on and start peeling out, the cops were starting to come
I
in.
see.
But the cops never saw him get into the
Oh,
black
okay.
truck.
So they were thinking he was still in the Mercedes at the time?
Right. So I started sprinting back towards the crime scene to tell them he's in the all black truck, and then I was screaming and pointing at the all black truck, and then it it was insane, because so there's a cop car coming in, right?
Right.
And he's literally like parallel with the cop car while he's looking from left to right so that he could peel out of the gas station. So
Yeah.
there was a moment in time where I thought maybe they're gonna stop him from leaving.
Right.
And then
But
just that split second that it took them to understand what I was trying to tell them was enough time to get him to like get out of
jump
there.
jump on the
And
15 and book it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Since what happened, what has changed for you in the past few days? Now I
Just
knew it was also
stress.
yeah. Also, it was your birthday that day as well.
Yeah, worst birthday ever.
Yeah.
Worst birthday ever. And I've had a couple of crummy ones, but yeah, this
Uh,
past one takes the cake, literally. I would say, oh wait, sorry, what was your original question?
since what happened, what has changed for you?
Oh, what has changed? Sorry.
Yeah.
So since then, just elevated stress. Like I even got to school today, and I told my students, please be a little patient. I'm a little on edge. I
Yeah.
apologize if I come across as a little grumpy or a little short with you. Um, But yeah, I'm definitely uptight. I did sleep really well last night. I think
That's
last
good.
night was probably the best sleep that I've got. The first couple nights not did not sleep very well. Just the sound of the shot going off is like still kind of in my brain. Just like there will be like a quiet moment or after school today I had bus duty and just like the loudness of everyone like kind of screaming and talking like I just it kind of like brought me back to that gunshot. So yeah, just stress and discomfort. I yeah, the whole financial fallout,
Yeah.
not knowing if I'll be able to get a new truck again. When I almost had this one paid off, I probably had about a year left worth of payments, which really
Yeah.
is not that much.
Yeah.
So not knowing what's coming next or if I'll be able to afford a truck or anything that looks like remotely close to what I was already driving before. I mean, I love that truck.
Right.
So just the disappointment and kind of sadness from that whole situation. But yeah.
Understand. Um, so there is a GoFundMe currently up for you still, is that correct? It's
Yes,
still
yeah, and if there's anybody out there who's willing to go look up teacher gets carjacked on his birthday or Ross gets carjacked, I don't know what the GoFundMe is,
okay.
but yeah, it's also on my Instagram.
Right. That's what I saw at
And
first.
my Instagram I took off of private just so that more people could hear my story.
Right.
But my Instagram is jreal86.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, if anybody has a heart or has, some compassion or just some extra money that they don't mind donating to a good cause, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Not just the truck, but my
Right.
new iPhone was in there.
Oh,
My iPad was in there, my gym equipment.
were you able to get
Um,
some of the stuff back?
that I'm not sure yet. So everything right now is locked up for evidence.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know what stuff is destroyed from, bullets going in and out of
Yeah.
the truck or the impact of the light pole.
Right.
Um, but hopefully we'll see.
Yeah. Is it okay if I put the GoFundMe link in the description of this podcast?
Please, yeah, that'd be
Okay, will
awesome,
do.
Aiden. I appreciate that.
Um, what would you say to people if they're in the same situation? What advice would you give them?
I would say to stay calm. I think at first I tried to be a little bit, I guess, a little bit tough with him. I mean, I really like I wasn't cussing at him or like trying to aggravate him, but I tried to stand my ground for like a second. Um, I don't even think that was the right move. I've talked to people that are like, "Oh, well, if you would have had a gun on you and this and that," and I'm like, "It's not the movies. It's not a video game. There's no reset button. If you get shot and a vital organ gets hit or you lose enough blood, I mean, you're gone. And the
Right.
truck itself is, as much as I love that truck, it was just a truck, which even hurts for me to say it was just a truck, but that's just the reality. Even if I can't afford a new truck within the next 3 to 5 years, I mean, eventually, hopefully, I'll get a new truck. I
Yeah.
can't get a new life or get a
Yeah.
new arm back, or if he would have, damaged an eye or my brain or whatever. So it's a little frustrating that some people are like, "Oh man, it's too bad that you didn't have a gun,"
Yeah.
because I don't think that's even realistic.
Right.
So I think in that situation, your best weapon is to try to humanize the person who is coming at you. Um, and that's really all you have is just you literally are at their mercy. So I don't think aggravating or fighting, especially when someone has a gun of that caliber. I mean, an AR-15, if I even had a gun and I were to shoot him and he just sneezes on the trigger and just sprays me in my truck, I'm probably dead just
Yeah.
from a spray of bullets. So it doesn't even like I really think just trying to keep a level head. try not to raise your voice, try not to aggravate the assailant. I think those are all key things that can save your life in that situation.
Um, so when your phone was in the car at the time and when your girlfriend called, what did the suspect say to your girlfriend? Like, what was the conversation like with her and the suspect?
Yeah, so with it being my birthday, yeah, it was hard for my girlfriend to really understand what was even going on at first. She said, hey babe, and the guy who stole my truck responded back with, um, I stole your husband or boyfriend's truck, but I didn't hurt him. And she said, "Oh, okay." Like she's kind of playing along for a
Mm-hmm.
couple seconds, like thinking that, like one of my friends picked me up from work and we're about to go get some beers or something, or we're doing something for my birthday, and we're like playing a joke on her. And then he says, if you don't believe me, you can turn on the news and you'll probably see me. Um, and then she said that she heard sirens. And when she started hearing the sirens and the gunshots, she instantly knew, like, this is not a joke. And she told me she was afraid to get off of the phone because even though he said he didn't hurt me,
Yeah,
she doesn't know that.
right.
He could have used me as a hostage, or maybe I'm dead in the back of my truck, or in the passenger seat or whatever. So it was important for her to stay on the phone until she knew for sure that I was alive. Um, and then throughout the course of the phone call, which was like almost a half an hour,
Yeah.
she's on the phone with him. He's telling her stuff like, "This is my last day on earth. I'm gonna die today. Tell my kids that I love them. Tell my kids that I enjoyed being their dad and walking them to school." Um, and she's trying to calm him down. She's trying to keep him calm. She's trying to tell him, stop using your weapon, don't fire your gun, put it down. Um, when she first got on the phone, she was trying to get him to pull over, and he was like, "That's not going to happen."
Okay.
So his mind was made up. He knew that he was either going to die or try to get away. Um, and I think up until he crashed the truck, I think he was really hoping that he was going to get away. There was a point in time where he got shot,
Yeah.
and he told my girlfriend, "Oh, these explicit language,
Yeah.
these beep shot me," and he started fading. She said that his voice started fading and that he started getting quiet. And she was checking in like, "Hey, are you still there? Are you still there?" And he was saying that it's just getting hard to focus. I think because he was losing blood.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying it's getting hard to focus, and he's trying to focus on the road and not hit anything. I think because he's still believing that he's going to get away if he can just get the right opportunity while he's driving. Um, and then she was on the phone with him all the way up until impact. She
Mm-hmm.
said she heard the truck crunch, and then the call died. So I'm assuming that either the phone broke or the deck that was connected to my phone, probably, a wire or something broke or something.
Um, so your girlfriend actually did try to stop the suspect from like going on.
Yeah, yeah. She tried to get him to pull over at first, and he said that's not going to happen. There was also another point in time where he's driving around, and it's
Yeah.
it's like some schools are getting out. So
Yeah,
he
I totally
eventually
saw
got,
that.
huh?
The kids crossing the street right there. We were watching it live.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know if he was considering blowing through him, but
Mm-hmm.
I think he knew that by stopping that the cops were gaining ground on him. And he told her, these effing kids are in the way, like da 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 da. I can't believe this. And then he rolls down the window, he's screaming at the kids, get the beep out of the way. And she's telling him like, "Don't you dare run those kids over, stop the truck, don't even think about it." And he's like slowly edging closer and closer
Right.
to the crosswalk. And yeah, I was watching it live too from the Shell gas station. There were some bystanders that they all had their phones out. Um, and I thought like, oh my God, is he gonna do it? Not knowing that, my girlfriend's talking to him, right? Trying to talk him
Yeah.
down. I don't know if he would have without her talking him down, but I know she really tried her best to keep him calm and to not get angry or to get irrational or further irrational after he already was acting crazy.
Yeah. So going back to school, when you first went back to school, where there's like a bunch of teachers coming up to you and students like making sure you're all okay and everything.
Yeah, so today was actually my first day back. And it feels really nice to have people coming up to me and, hey, Mr. Ross, we're so glad that you're back. We're so glad that you're okay. I think the most difficult thing for me in this whole scenario is like I'm very much about, not receiving help, not feeling like I'm a victim, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm kind of helpless and I kind of need help. So the more people, are apologizing and saying things like that, it's forcing me to acknowledge that I am a victim in this scenario, and it doesn't feel good. But it does feel nice that people do care, that their
Right.
staff members, students, families, people that I don't even know that donated to my GoFundMe are just they're angels. I'm just at a loss for words. I just feel like I owe so many people so much that I will probably never be able to repay. Or if I do get the opportunity one day to repay them, I would love to. But yeah, so school's been good.
That's
Work
good.
keeps me grounded. That's like my anchor. I lost my brother last year
Uh,
to a drug
sorry,
overdose.
sorry
Um,
for your loss.
Thank you. Yeah. So even with that, I went to work the very next day, and it's not because I didn't care about my brother. It's not that I wasn't upset, but work has always been like my go-to to keep me grounded. And then without wheels and without knowing anything about insurance or where things were going and just being so like emotionally kind of wacky, I couldn't go to school for the first couple of days. And then Wednesday, my insurance company was supposed to get back to me Wednesday, which they did. So I intentionally missed Wednesday also just to get, that whole insurance stuff
Yeah.
rolling. So that way, when I went back to work, at least I could kind of lean into that, knowing that, my insurance company is working on this case and I should be getting some answers here pretty soon.
When the insurance say they'll only cover KB, what is the meaning of KB?
So KB stands for Kelly Blue Book. So I spoke with insurance yesterday and they have to work out the numbers. I mean, based on Kelly Blue Book and just answering the basic questions that are on that website, they valued my truck at 14 to 17,000. But then, like I said, I still owed a year or so left worth of payments. So I believe I had gap insurance also, which I believe helps. Um, but then you think about the fact that the XLT that I was driving around was already an upgraded model just off the
Yeah.
lot. I bought it during COVID, so I bought it for like 26 or 28,000. Um, and then there was upgrades to it that I bought it with like a spray and rhino bed liner, and then I put new lights in it, new exhaust, um, mats, a sound system. Uh, so yeah, when I factor in, oh yeah, new brakes, new calipers. I mean, the list goes on. So even at that, I like me personally, I would value my truck at least 30,000, but that's just me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the insurance is going to take all of those upgrades into consideration or not.
I see.
but we'll see.
Where can our listeners find you online?
So what was that?
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
on Instagram is probably the best, just
Okay.
jreal86. I've had some people reach out to me since I took my thing off of private.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be good about responding just because people they're taking the time to bring me good wishes, or if they're donating, I want to say thank you. So yeah, I would say Instagram is probably the easiest, or my email at jross86@gmail.com. Those are probably the two easiest.
Okay. I'm going to end the recording on this meeting. I want to thank you so much for taking your time out of today and joining
Sure.
me in this podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in on today's episode. The next one will be posted sometime next week. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you guys leave a like if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure you give me a follow if you guys are listening to this on Spotify, etc.